The reason you're afraid of being more seen is because you assume you are someone that's difficult to see, value, and understand. Now, this was born as a survival identity, a very clever one that you would have picked up growing up as a hypervigilant child, where the feedback you got was that unless you could predict what people needed you to be and then become that thing, it actually wasn't safe to be seen as yourself. And so as a creative, you try and over-explain your work, you over-edit, you are constantly panicking about using the right words, of explaining it in the right way, of creating the thing in the way that other people need you to create. Before you know it, you've completely kind of disconnected from the initial idea because you're trying so hard to make sure that it's easily understood, seen, and valued by other people because of the survival identity that says, I am someone that people just don't have a lot of tolerance to be able to see, understand, and value. So it creates this deep fracture within your creative process where your main focus is around who do I need to be? Who should I be? Who does the world need me to be? How do I need to make sure I'm seen? How do I need to make sure that I show up and play and create content so that people can actually finally understand and value and see me? And that is why being more seen creates this overwhelming sense of panic. It's why it feels so heavy, why it feels so frustrating. It's like, how do I get this right? How do I get this right? It's why you have all these incredible ideas and then don't really do anything with them, because when it comes to actually sharing the idea, when it comes to actually sitting down and creating it, you are filtering your natural creative process through all these filters of, if I am someone that's hard to understand, see, and value, how do I need to kind of contort myself to make sure that this creative vision gets the exposure, the recognition that I know it needs to have? So creating for you becomes about getting it right versus getting it true. But what you don't realize you're doing, and the blind spot in this fear pattern, is that you are trying to perform to an audience you assume already doesn't like you, value you, sees you, instead of naturally speaking to and trusting that when you are exactly who you are in this present moment and you make that safe, you make all that uncomfortable feelings and those fears safe to feel, you naturally start to create and speak to the audience who immediately gets you, sees you, values you. The survival pattern that your fear is trying to wake you up out of is this idea that you need to prove yourself, you need to change yourself, you need to perform for this group of this invisible audience who aren't meant to see you. That is how you leak your power. That's where your frustration is. That is where the unnecessary resistance and how safe it feels to be seen is actually coming from. So if that sounds like you, hi, I'm Meg, and I help ambitious creative artists, dreamers like yourself, how to make it safe to be seen by changing the experience of how safe it feels to be yourself. So if that sounds like you and this felt like it spoke straight to the core of something, you can head to the link in my bio to register for my upcoming masterclass, or you can check out my one-to-one support. Mwah.